Good YouTube, Quinn Wade coming to y'all on the Analysis Playground with that basketball analysis on the Lakers acquiring Dorian Finney-Smith from the Nets for D'Angelo Russell and 3 second-round picks. Um, the Lakers are sending their second-round picks in 2027, 2030, and 2031. Benny Smith has been on the trade block for several weeks as the Nets try to rebuild. For people that don't know, they traded Dennis Schroeder to the Golden State Warriors. Now they're trading one of their best perimeter defenders on their team, so that way they can tank a little bit to be able to get some young talent into Brooklyn. And the second round picks obviously can help because you can trade them for first round picks, or you can keep them and try to hit on some guys later in the draft that people might sleep on, people might not want it as much, or you might be high on. You never really know until these drafts occur. They all separated from each other. So you just gotta tackle the draft to the best of your ability and hire good scouts and just try to develop them to the best of your ability. Obviously, something that I wanted to add was Finney can become a free agent this off season as he is in year 3 of his 4-year, $55 million extensions that he signed with Dallas in 2022. So if this doesn't work out, he obviously can walk and you can find a way to go in a different direction. He's a guy that really likes to compete and he can make shots. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers try to find a way to keep him because he's one of the better players in the league at what he does, a 3-and-D guy. And that's why a lot of teams was acquiring how to get him, like the Grizzlies and teams like that, that's trying to win because he understands his role, he understands what he's supposed to do, and he doesn't get in the way, and he's a team player. But the Lakers moved 3.5 million below the second apron and project to have more than 11 million in luxury tax savings while they did this move. So it also makes sense financially why they would go ahead and try to find a way to move D'Angelo Russell, who has been underperforming a little bit this season. He went from being the starter to coming off the bench, and then they thought about it like, you know what? We might as well just let this guy go. He had a lot of success in Brooklyn, became an all-star there. I don't expect D'Angelo Russell to be terrible. He's always going to be an okay player because he can shoot the three and handle the ball, and he's a guy that understands how to score. He's an okay playmaker. He used to be better. He kind of surrendered that a little bit depending on what team he's been on, but he's only getting older. He's not the most athletic guy. He's just a guy that understands how to play. He's going to have a spot in this league for that reason because he's been around for a long time. But, you know, the Lakers are not losing no sleep over losing D'Angelo Russell. He was a good addition a couple years ago, kind of wore out his welcome a little bit, kind of, you know, got on the Lakers' nerves, and the fans, they still believed in him. They still liked him. They was a little delusional with that. D'Angelo Russell, he is what he is at this point. He grew into the player that he's going to be. And this is the maxed out potential that he can be on a team. I think he can do more, obviously, on a team like the Nets, but I don't think they're going to keep D'Angelo Russell because he's going to be like a Dennis Schroeder to them. He's going to be trying to pay for another contract, play for a different destination, and that's his goal, is to stay in the NBA. So I don't really see him being with the Nets that long. I mean, if you're going to get rid of Dennis Schroeder, it only makes sense for you to get rid of a player like D'Angelo Russell whenever you can. And the Brooklyn Nets have a lot of cap space anyway. But the Nets were previously discussing acquiring a heavily protected first round pick from the Memphis Grizzlies in exchange for Finney Smith. Russell, who played for the Nets before the trade from the Lakers, is on an expiring $18.7 million contract. That's a good salary because it comes off the books for you. And like I said, the Nets are trying to keep certain guys that they like, and they're letting other guys go. I like the fact that they know the direction they're going in. I like the fact they understand what they're trying to do as an organization, and they had to make these decisions. Because I said last month, and I was the first person, or one of the first person that I know that said it, the Nets need to figure out, do they want to go for a play-in tournament or do they want to go in for a rebuild? And now they pick that direction of, we want to rebuild and not retool. And I think Ben Simmons is going to be another guy that they either going to stall out and try to get the best offer for him from a contender, or they're going to look at it like, well, we can't really get too much for him because he hasn't played that well and he hasn't really looked like the same player that he was before, even though we gave him ample amount of opportunities to prove that he can still be a good player for a good team. Somebody might be blind enough to do it, but if D'Angelo Russell gets traded, if Dennis Schroeder's getting traded, obviously Ben Simmons' salary is higher than those guys, but I can still see him being a good defender because he still shows that he can rebound, pass, and defend, and that's three things that he can do at a good level. And he's a team player too. So if you want a great defender that can possibly be on lower salary in the future, and he's still young and athletic, I think Ben Simmons is going to be the next one to be out of there. And some people say, what do you think about Cam Thomas? Should they keep Cam Thomas? He was one of the reasons why the season was fun because he can score, he can put on a show, but he's also a guy that's not the greatest passer. He doesn't have the greatest feel for the game. He doesn't have the highest basketball IQ. So he can be a six man like he's been before, but once you put him as a starter, it kind of ruins your team work type of style, and that's something that it's hard to play with Cam Thomas for that reason. When he gets the ball, he's primarily looking to score. He's primarily looking to do what he wants to do, not what is best for the team sometimes. And that's just his play style, and he's done it successfully. He's averaging over 20 points a game this year. So obviously he's good at what he does. We knew when he got drafted that he'll be a bucket, and he's been a bucket, but he also is very narrow-minded and very linear with what his approach and what he's trying to do. Even though he's shown that he got an NBA skill set, he can make a layup, he can make a three, he can make free throws, he can handle the ball and make decisions mainly for himself. But it also leaves you a little bit more to be desired as a team that's looking to upgrade if you're trading for him or if you're trying to keep him. But I do think Dorian will be a good player for the Lakers. And like I said, they really wanted to get off that D'Angelo Russell contract, even though it's going to expire anyway. But they still want to compete, and LeBron James is getting older, and he's not playing as much as he used to. He's not playing at the same level. He does like playing with guys that's switchable and also can space the floor. Same with Anthony Davis. You want Anthony Davis to rule that mid-range area and not be on a three-point line as much so he can be able to hit the floaters and the dunks and the mid-range jump shots that he has become so exceptional at. And I think Dorian is only going to work in a favor. Like, they have a lot of guys that can pass and handle the ball too, and just having another guy in the corner or another guy at the top of the key that can keep the ball moving there or that can knock down the three is only going to help the offense of the Lakers. I'm not saying it like this is going to be a game-changing move and they're going to become a championship contender because they traded for Dorian Finney-Smith, but at least he knows what he's trying to do and he continues to do that at the highest level, and he doesn't try to differentiate or go away from that. And D'Angelo Russell is a guy that he can start to get buckets, he can start to do certain things, and you'd be like, man, we didn't really want you to do that. If we have to be honest, that's not what we wanted you to do, and he's been known for that for a while. But I also want to say the Lakers also got Shake Milton. I didn't want to forget about him. He's a guy that can come off the bench and score. He can shoot a little bit. He can get to the basket. He can get out in transition. He's a part of that Dorian Finney-Smith that the Lakers got. And Shake Milton has been one of the best role players, especially off the bench in the league. You never know what you're going to get out of him, but at least you know he can score the basketball. And the Lakers need more weapons. They need more people that can do things on the court without always having to rely on LeBron because he goes to the bench sometimes. And these two guys can, do two different things. Shea Milton can score off the dribble. He can also score off the catch. And Dorian Finney-Smith can just add a nice, strong body too. And that's what they need. And I will say the Brooklyn Nets also got Maxwell Lewis with those 3 second-round picks. We don't know what the picks are going to be. We don't know if they're going to keep them. But Maxwell Lewis is a guy that's not going to do much for your team. He's not going to really change your team. He's probably might not even play really any at all. So I think that he's worth mentioning. Obviously, he was in his trade, so it makes sense to give him some credit because he was good enough to make it to the league and good enough to be salary, even if he's getting dumped, even if he's not going to make it next year or 2 years. At least he made it. At least he got a chance to play. And that's all you can really be happy for because some people don't even get a chance to do that. And other than that, I do want to see how these picks turn out and what they decide to do with them because Brooklyn has tried this rebuilding thing so many times. Let's just make a bunch of cap space so we can get Kevin Durant and Kyrie. Let's make a bunch of cap space so we can get De'Aaron Williams and Joe Johnson. those things didn't work. They had quality role players, they had star players, and they still couldn't find a way to build a championship team, even when they got a superstar like Durant and another superstar like Kyrie Irving, and they was able to get good role players to fill out the roster, and they was able to get James Harden and Ben Simmons. With those two guys, they both decided to leave in the same month. And that was unfortunate for the Nets doing all that to have a genius plan that they executed well. They just couldn't figure out how to win a championship with the guys that they had acquired the last 20 years. And even when they got Jason Kidd and Vince Carter, didn't really work out. Then when they had, Jason Kidd and Kenyon Martin, they couldn't win a championship because they just didn't have enough talent to beat the Lakers. So it's a tough thing to be a Nets fan because you get closer and you think it's going to change and you think they're going to figure it out. You think they're going to get it done, and they change the personnel. Then they change the organization people. Then they change in the team again. And now you wonder if this time when we rebuild, can we actually win the championship? I hear you. I hear you, Nets fans. I hear you. You think now we got more picks and now we got more players we can trade and now we can get a first round pick. Now, can you get a first round pick for Ben Simmons? I think you might get some second rounders too. But at least he's worth trading now. Like, you gave up a lot to get him, but now it's about he is what he is. Like, this is the Ben Simmons that you got. So I'm just trying to cover as much Nets things as I can. Think I touched on everything. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, I make conversation videos just like this. I also make breakdowns with footage of legends, current players, rookies, and future stars. Also do mock draft coverage and NBA draft coverage in general. And I do cover the hottest news and the hottest topics in the NBA just like this on a regular basis. And I also break down games of instantly reacting to them and telling you how I feel about them on this channel too. I have over 3,000 videos on my channel, so check those out if you want to and see what I have to offer and what I do on this channel. And if you're new to the channel too, you can check out my channel to get me on social media, so that way you can follow me. I offer different content on those that I don't do on YouTube, making them different. So if you want to follow those too, or like them or support them, it's up to you, but I'm just saying it's an option if you want to. And other than that, hope you guys enjoying your Sunday so far. Hopefully you guys are happy with the moves for the Nets or for the Lakers. They both made sense for this move to happen. And it was just smart for the Lakers to go in a different direction and get guys that actually fit what they're trying to do. And the Nets are putting themselves in a position to where they can have more draft assets and more draft equity. And that's all you can really do when you're trying to find a way to get another superstar or two. And the more things you got that's attractive makes packages better. And I think that now they have more things that they can throw at other teams if they want a superstar that's already in the league or if they want to move up in the draft. So, the Nets made the right decision, especially because they are a team that we do want to see what is their new plan. And we're seeing more of it. Now we're going to see who they try to target in this draft because they should get a high pick. Other than that, see you guys later, and I'm gone for now.